I think we heard some very inspiring stories from our future leaders. Whether we call ourselves leaders or not, we have clearly heard some very strong narratives, some passion, and some very creative ideas of how we can change society and how we can create this atmosphere of inclusion. I think we've heard some really the personal stories, and I would like to invite the youth to say briefly what is it that made you decide to act as agents of change? What is it that inspired you to get involved? Anyone? Giovanni?
Yeah. I must say that before having the accident that then brought me to become a person with a disability, to be frank, I was not involved in advocating the human rights of persons with disabilities. It was just it was something that came with this major event in my life, because I realized what people, in my case, people with disabilities is facing every day. There is full of plenty of laws, plenty of declaration of principles. Now we even have a convention of the United Nations covering the aspect of people with disabilities. But when you see in everyday life which are the challenges that still to be faced by in this case by my minority group, I start to feel the need, to feel also the willingness to commit myself in this sense. I was studying political science at the University of Padua, and with then following human rights, international relations, and I think that I thought it was I was already in a good in the correct stream, let's say. It's disability nowadays is a factor of human rights. Is not anymore caring. Is not anymore considering the person as a patient but as a citizen. And so then I started to feel this need, and at national level in Italy, and now also on European level as a member of the Youth Committee of the European Disability Forum. That is the umbrella organization representing people with disabilities in Europe.
Yeah, why I want to be active, to let a different sound to be heard, because we're talking about minorities, and that's okay. But I'm afraid if you keep on talking about minorities, you fall back in a victim role, and that's not the intention. I'd rather focus on the similarities. And as I see the people here, we're concerned basically about the future of Europe, our future basically. And if you focus more on the similarities, then the diversity thing will be emphasized, and we are less becoming a minority, as in becoming a victim, but being a part of the majority. That's the thing where we have to head through. Well, English is difficult, man. We have to head through, finally. And also, we have to make an effort to change the homogeneous identity of different countries to a heterogeneous identity. So that's the reason why I try to become more active.
I want to pick up with something that Timothy Kirkhope said about listening and starting early and giving a voice and participation, because I think it's very important that that we start very early with different kinds of education. And I mean, you're young, but not kids anymore at all. Sorry, well, in comparison, but maybe. But I think we need to start very early as educators, caretakers, parents, sisters, brothers, in all different roles when we come in contact with children, and try to teach them about values. With values, I don't mean traditional values, but I mean more values of the rights of the individual, the that you were mentioning about the diversity, but not minorities, but being equal. And I think also it's very, very important to listen to children and to take their voices seriously and to give them the right to participate in decisions that affect them as early as possible, because they do have very valuable points of view. And I think it's not only when you turn 18, you know, a kid of 10 or even younger can have very, very good points of view on different issues, and I think it's up to us.
We have very practical issues. The Youth in Action program, for example, which involved in 2008 130,000 young people, 7,000 projects. And I think for many of the young people who participate in the program, it's the first first journey to another country. So the direct impression the young people have from another country often influences their perception of the otherhood or otherness, if the word exists in English. It changes their value system. It changes our own value system. We also have a focus on involving young people at an earlier age. In the past, we defined young people 18 to 25. Now, with the revised Youth in Action program, it's 13 to 30.
Well, I think one of the first things is being stereotypes, because in many ways the whole idea of minority, it's easy to stereotype somebody because unfortunately, you know, the media, for example, take hold of certain ideas of normality and present those as sort of unchangeable and unquestionable. And I think in some ways each person on this panel has sort of presented something that can be seen as like the elephant in the room. We all sort of spoke frankly about what we believe in. And I think the challenges we face are that sometimes in real society, these issues are not dealt with. They're talked over, they're talked to, but they're not dealt with at hand. And sort of in some ways, I think everyone here, and myself, I personally feel frustrated when I watch TV or I read a newspaper and they talk about immigration or young people or ethnic minorities or disability, people with disabilities, as if they don't have a voice. Everyone has their own voice, and if you just sort of listen, then it will be easier for us to communicate. And I think that this project is good because it allows us to speak without being hindered.